Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone on our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita call. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarini Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Talk about chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. Now in our regular flow, we were in third chapter of Bhagavad Gita as of now, but I thought we'll jump to chapter 15 and discuss chapter 15, because chapter 15 is very, very special chapter. It's entitled as the Yoga of the Supreme Person, Purushottam Yoga. So that is the name of the chapter also. This month is Purushottam month, and the Supreme Lord also is known as Purushottam. So Lord is Purushottam and this month is also Purushottam. And chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita is called Purushottam Yoga. Now this chapter is very special in the sense Lord Krishna is talking about the material world, the nature of material world, the nature of spiritual world, and how the living entity is bound in this material world, and how Lord is providing for everybody, even though when we are in this material world, how Krishna is taking care of us, how he is providing for our material needs as well as for our spiritual progress. And then it ends with 3 Shloki Gita, text number 18 through 20. So in this chapter, there are only 20 shlokas. And another important point in this chapter is it's only Krishna speaking. These 20 verses spoken by Krishna only. There is no question by Arjuna. There is no commentary by Sanjay. So 20 verses straightforward spoken by Lord Krishna. So we'll maybe discuss first few verses today. So the first text of this chapter, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Adhashakam Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Suvedavit. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and the branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So the text number 1 itself is very, very important. What is Lord Krishna really trying to speak here by the analogy of this Vatabriksha, the banyan tree? Is Krishna speaking something about a tree really, or what is Krishna speaking about? See, Krishna is a best of the best teachers. A good teacher, he will give different analogies to make the point clear, and so that audience can understand it very easily. And Lord Krishna is speaking about this analogy of Vatavriksha, the banyan tree. So what is this banyan tree representing here actually? What is Krishna trying to speak in this verse? So let's open up for any discussion. I want to hear from you. What is your understanding? What is Krishna trying to say here? Yes, anybody? Malti Mataji.
Everything is coming from him. The roots are up, so everything is coming from him.
Everything is coming from Krishna. The roots are up. Okay, good. Anybody else? Speak up. So when we discuss, when we share, it brings our understanding even better.
What's the question, Prabhuji, again?
Question is, Krishna is giving the example of a banyan tree here in this first shloka of 15th chapter. So what is it representing? What is this Vatabriksha, the banyan tree, symbolizing here? What is Krishna trying to say?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think Krishna is referring to the material world, like which is like the reflection of the spiritual world, as per like the previous discourses you have given.
Okay, so at least somebody remembers. We have discussed it earlier also, previous Purushottam months also. So thank you, bro, for sharing. So Prasad Prabhu said this banyan tree represents the material world, which is like a reflection. So yes, Krishna is giving the contrast between the spiritual world and the material world. See, what are the characteristics of a reflection? Right? Reflection is not permanent. Reflection is temporary. So when the sun is there in the sky, we can see the reflection. But if the sun is not there or the light is not there, we cannot see the reflection, right? You don't see the shadow. And then the reflection may grow and shrink. And also the reflection is shaky, right? If let's say if there is some reflection in the water and there are waves in the water, so the reflection is also moving. And the reflection is not real. Whatever object you are seeing in the reflection, if you're trying to catch that object, there is no real object there. So with this verse, what Krishna is telling is the nature of this material world. Krishna says, Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakham Ashwatham Prahuravyam. So there is a Ashwatha tree, the Vatavriksha. It has its roots upward and branches downward. So roots upward, branches downward means it's like the reflection of the tree. So this material world is the reflection of the spiritual world. For example, if there is a tree on the bank of a river, and you will see the reflection of the tree in the water. And when we see the reflection of the tree in the water, what do we see? You will see the branches are downward in that reflection and the trunk is upward. So here Krishna is talking about this material world, that this material world is just the reflection of the spiritual world. It, in essence, it's not real and it's temporary. And in this material world, whatever we try to find, there is no real happiness. People run behind happiness in this world, but ultimately nobody is able to get that real happiness in this world. For example, if somebody is hungry, right? If you are hungry and you see the reflection of the food and you try to get that food in the reflection, will it give you any nutrition? Will you be able to satisfy your hunger with that reflection of the food? No. If you try to catch the reflection of the mango in the water As soon as you try to touch it, the reflection, it will go away. And there is no real essence, real substance there. So the reflection is not real and it cannot give us satisfaction. So in this material world, no matter how much we try to find happiness, the happiness slips out of our hands. And we will talk about this happiness. What is the nature of happiness and distress in this world? Now, first of all, this material world is the reflection of spiritual world with the roots upward and branches downward. So there is a very nice small story actually on this point, that we try to catch the reflection, but if you try to find the object in the reflection, you cannot touch it. Once there was a king and the queen. So queen was standing in the balcony and she was wearing a very nice necklace. A crow flew out and the crow snatched that necklace, and with that necklace, the crow flew away. And the king immediately sent the soldiers to catch that crow and bring that necklace back. So the soldiers are running behind that crow. The crow reached at the shore of the river, and there was a big tree. So these soldiers came running behind this crow, chasing the crow. And as they're trying to search for that necklace, they saw the necklace in the water. So they are trying to catch that necklace in the water. As soon as they put their hand in the water, the necklace disappears. So they are trying again and again, and they're not able to get that necklace out. And Sadhu came there, and Sadhu saw these soldiers. What are they trying to do? They are trying to find that necklace in the water. And he asked the soldier, what are you trying to do? Oh, we are trying to catch that necklace out of the water, get that necklace out of the water. He said, look up. And as they looked up, the necklace was hanging from the branch of the tree. The crow had threw that necklace there, and the reflection of necklace was falling in the river, and they were trying to catch that necklace in the river as a reflection. So this small story is, you cannot get the object which is just as a reflection. There is no real essence in the reflection. As soon as we touch the reflection, it goes away. And in this world, no matter how much somebody trying to find happiness, it slips out of our hands. And he came to know that now in 5 days, I'm going to die, right? My life is over. And he called his minister. He told his minister, I have one desire. Please fulfill this desire when I die. I want to have this desire fulfilled. His minister said, please tell us what is your desire. And the king said, or Alexander said, my desire is that all my doctors, all my physicians, they should carry my dead body on their shoulders. And minister said, okay, very well, we will do that. And then Alexander said, my next desire is when my dead body is taken out for the funeral, all these wealth which I have collected, which I have looted from all over the world, all these precious gems, necklaces, diamonds and all should be thrown on the way. And my next wish is that my hands should be kept open, hanging outside of the coffin. It should be showing as my open hands hanging outside of the coffin. So minister said, okay, we will do that. But he was a little curious to know why Alexander is asking all these conditions or all these wish lists. So Alexander said, my dead body should be taken by all these physicians, my doctors, to show to the world that no matter how much opulences you have, how much wealth you have, Even you have the best of the best doctors, physicians, but one day you have to die. Nobody can save you. And the second and third condition is, I have worked so hard. I have gone on fighting all over the world, having these wars all over the world to amass this wealth. But at last, nobody will come with us. So I want to throw out all this wealth, which is, it's not useful anyways, and it's not going to come with me. So the open hands hanging out of the coffin is to demonstrate when we die, we have to go empty-handed. We cannot take anything with us. So what does this story is trying to tell is, again, in this material world, we are running behind so many things. People are behind power, position, name, wealth. One may acquire something in this world, but ultimately it does not last forever. One has to give up everything here only and go empty-handed. So Krishna is saying this material world is just the reflection of the spiritual world. Then the second text, Adhaschordhavam prasartasya tasya shakha gunah pravriddha vishayah pravalah adhascha mulani anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke. Translation: the branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the object of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. So here in this verse, Krishna is further describing the nature of this material world. In this material world, what Krishna is saying by the analogy of this tree, that the branches of this tree, actually they extend downward also, they extend upward also. And it is, this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the object of senses, and this tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive action of human society. So this verse making it even more clear. Now what is Krishna trying to present here? So this material world, in this material world, the branches are going up and going down. It represents the different planetary system within this material world. Like a bird sitting on a tree, it can go to a lower branch or to a higher branch searching for some fruits on that tree. So same way the living entity in this material world, we are going sometime down to the lower branches, sometime we are going up to the higher branches. Means sometime we are going to the lower planetary system, sometime we are going to the higher planetary system, because of our action influenced by the three modes of material nature. Everybody is working under the modes of nature, being the goodness, passion, and ignorance. And based on the type of activities we perform, sometimes we get good results, sometimes we get bad results. Sometimes we are eligible to go to the higher planets, and when the pious karma is exhausted, Shine punyam ritti lokyam vishanti, the punya is exhausted, and again one comes back on this earth, or one can glide down to the lower planetary system also. So these branches going up or going down means the different planetary system within this material world. And we are going up and down, up and down, up and down like on a pendulum because of our karmic reaction. So the nature of this material world, again, Krishna is making very clear that we all are bound in this material world, trying to enjoy based on our various activities, based on the different modes we acquire. But there is ultimately no satisfaction, and we get bound because of our activities. So in the next verse, Krishna is urging all of the readers of Bhagavad Gita, all of us, Krishna is urging that we should try to come out of this material world. We should cut out our attachment within this material world. So text number 3 and 4, very wonderful again. न रूपमस्य तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न च आदिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेन सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा. So what is this nature of material world further? So Krishna is describing the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Asanga shastrena dhrena chitva. So cut down this material tree, cut down this tree with the sword of detachment. So in this material world, nobody can understand what are the complexities of karma. Karmana gahano gati. Right? The complexities of karma is not able to understand. Nobody can understand what karma can give us what result, how we can get bound in this material world. So one should cut down this attachment in this material world. And where to go then after, if you get freed from this material world, that Krishna says in the next world, that you should try to come to the spiritual world, because that is your real home. For example, if a child, it goes to some fair, some busy place, the parents hold on to the hand of the child. But if the child runs away by leaving the hand of the parent, and if he get lost in that crowd, so child, because he is separated from the parents, he is in a miserable condition. But as soon as the child is united back with his parents, the child again becomes happy. All his needs are again fulfilled. Same way we have come to this material world, leaving the hand of our eternal Father. We have come in this material world and we are trying to struggle very hard in this material world for our sustenance. But as soon as we unite back with our eternal Father, we go back to Krishna, then there is no misery, then there is ever happiness. So in this material world, actually, if we see, there is no happiness, there is only suffering only. But there may be somebody who may say, no, why you keep saying there is suffering in this material world? Actually, we can see there is happiness also in this material world. You can become happy in this world. You can find some happiness in this world. Is there happiness present in this world or no? What is your answer? Is there happiness in this world or no?
No, Prabhuji.
No. Sasmita Mataji is very convinced. Sasmita Mataji is fully convinced there is no happiness in this world. But you eat some nice food, you feel some happiness. You go lay down on the bed, you feel some happiness, right? Some pleasure in some of the things. So then why do we say there is no happiness in this world? There is all misery only.
Well, it's temporary and short-lived, Prabhuji.
Because this
Sometime we may
happiness is
feel,
temporary and short-lived. Okay.
then some situation comes and again our mind wanders or worries about some situation. And then we forget that we were
Okay.
happy few minutes back or some hours before. Things keep changing all the time.
Good. So let's understand the nature of happiness and distress first, right? What is happiness and what is this distress? If we really see, happiness in this world is not really happiness. What we name happiness, what we claim as happiness, is absence of misery. When for some time we are not in misery, when we feel some relief from misery, we think of that as happiness. But in reality, that is not happiness. That is just absence of misery. For example, if somebody is in a deserted area, right? किसी रेगिस्तान में है, and there is so much scorching heat. and the person is not able to find water anywhere, and he is suffering because of thirst and because of the scorching heat, and you go there and give him a bottle of Bisleri, right? Bisleri water bottle or Fiji water bottle. What will be the reaction of that person? He will become so joyous, right? He will become so happy. Oh, thank you so much. I was feeling so thirsty and you brought this water bottle for me. So he will feel happiness in that activity. But is that really happiness? That is because he was suffering so much and now he got little relieved from that suffering. That we term as happiness. But if the water bottle was going to give that happiness, by receiving that water bottle, everybody should become happy then. So if somebody is sitting in his home, nice AC room, and he has no thirst at all, and you go give him a water bottle, or drink this, I have brought this water bottle for you, you drink it. And that person has no need or no desire to drink water at this time. Will he feel happy by getting that water bottle? No. So our happiness is based on our need to get relaxation from the suffering condition. Right? Same way, if you are in scorching heat and you get a shade, you get a place, somebody tells you, you come inside the house, there is nice AC working. And when you go inside the house, nice air conditioning there, immediately the person will feel happy, relaxed from that miserable situation. But AC is not the cause of our happiness actually. Our happiness is because of relaxation from misery. If there is so much cold outside, if it is snowing outside, and then you turn on AC, the person will say, are you crazy? Are you mad? Already so much cold outside and you're turning on AC. So what I'm trying to say is happiness, what we perceive as happiness in this world is not really happiness. That is just some relaxation from our suffering situation. So that's why Krishna is saying in this material world, there is no happiness. Dukkhalaya ashashvatam. And even if we find some flickering happiness from our hunger, from our other some miserable situation, that is not permanent. That is temporary only. Ashashvatam. So this material world is no place for a sane person. So that's why Krishna is telling that one should go out of this material world. And where to go? Krishna tells in the fourth text, Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadhyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritihi prasarta purani. Therefore, one must seek that place from which, having gone, no one returns, one never returns. And there, surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So, Krishna is saying, search out a different place. This material world is not your real home. So, search out for another place. And how is that place? Krishna says, after attaining to that place, Yasmin Gata na nivartanti bhuya. After attaining that place, one never returns back. And what one should do after reaching there? Tameva chadhyam purusham prapadye. Surrender to that
Surrender to
Supreme
Krishna.
Lord. Surrender to Krishna. Why? Yattah pravriti prasarta purani. Because everything is coming from him. Everything is extending from him. So we should become intelligent to understand what is our real home, what is our real place, and one should try to achieve that place. But we have been going in this material world thinking if I go to Swarga, I will become happy. If I go to higher planets, Maharlok, Tapalok, Brahmalok, there is real happiness. That is like being a foolish person. in ignorance, not like a real learned person. Rather than trying to endeavor for getting higher and higher planets in this world, one should seek out the ultimate eternal home. Once a flight, right? Imagine you are traveling, you are flying in a plane. Let's say you took a plane from Detroit to Delhi. So you are flying in the plane, and on the way, one person gets up with a gun in his hand and he claims this plane has been hijacked. Immediately, everybody becomes so scared. What will happen to us? And that person says, rather than landing this plane in Delhi, we are going to hijack this plane and land it in Lucknow. So everybody is shivering, everybody is so scared. And you turn to the next passenger sitting next to you, you look at him and that person is smiling. That person is very happy. You ask him, why are you smiling? Why are you happy? The plane is hijacked. And imagine that person says, see, we bought the ticket for Delhi. Now in that cost, we will visit another city, Lucknow. Right? How wonderful. Now, is that person really Gyani or Mudha? Right? That person will be classified as a Mudha. After some time, if the hijacker now announces, oh, rather than landing that plane in Lucknow, rather we will take this plane to Lahore. So again, everybody shivering. Now we are not even in our country. Who will protect us? They are going to take it into a different country. Again, everybody is very scared, shivering, and you turn to the next passenger and this person is again smiling. See how wonderful. We will visit another country without visa, without passport, we'll go to another country. So this is called being Mudha. The same way we are thinking, oh, we will visit this planet, that planet, and we will go to the other higher planets. Rather than trying to make situation comfortable within this material world, which is all places of misery. Krishna says from the lowest planet to the highest planet in this material world, everything is a place of misery here in this material world. So don't try to become comfortable in this world. And now this Chandrayaan mission is going on, right? In India, ISRO has launched that mission to go to moon again. And people talk about, oh, we can reach moon. And this, when in 70s, this 60s and 70s, when this moon mission was going on by NASA, at that time, Prabhupada made many different statements. Prabhupada said, even if somebody can try to go to higher planets, Prabhupada did not deny that one cannot go to higher or other different planets. There are different ways to go to different planets. And Prabhupada did not deny the arrangement of the spacecrafts also, that by utilizing some spacecrafts, one may be able to reach other planets. So that is one method of reaching other planets. Second, that is kind of our material arrangement to go to different planets. Another arrangement is at the time of death, based on the karmic reaction, ultimately everybody, they can go to higher planet or lower planet. And the third method is by utilizing mystic powers. There have been many yogis who can travel to different planetary systems based on their siddhis, based on their mystic powers. So all these three methods are there to go to different planet. So even if somebody is by material arrangement try to go to different planets, Prabhupada said you cannot stay there. First of all, the person will be diverted to a different place. Even though they try to go to Mars, they try to go to moon, ultimately they land up somewhere else. They end up somewhere else, because they are diverted to a different place. Just the example Prabhupada gave is, if somebody is trying to come to USA and he does not have the proper visa, even if he arrives at the airport here without having the proper documentation, proper visa, he will be even diverted immediately. Right? They will not give an access entry into America, they will be diverted. So same way with material arrangements, by utilizing our spaceships and all, if somebody try to enter into a unapproachable zone, they will be diverted. They will end up going somewhere else, landing somewhere else. That's what has happened always in these moon missions, Mars mission and everything. And even if they land there, Prabhupada said, even if you land there, what are you going to do there? Are you going to make permanent accommodation there, just collecting some rock, some sand? Is that the purpose of spending these billions and trillions of dollars? You cannot make any residence there. You cannot make any permanent plans there. So people can try to go with their material arrangement, or we will anyways go based on our quota of karma. One can be eligible to go to the higher planets. But ultimately, what Krishna is saying here, in this material world, all these places are temporary, the places of misery only. Rather, one should try to seek out a place which is permanent place, which is the eternal home. And one should try to approach that place. And who can become eligible to go to that place, that permanent home? In 5th verse, Krishna answers that. What is the eligibility to go to the spiritual home, the eternal home? Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandver vimukta sukha dukkha sange gachanti amudha padamavyayam tat. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So what are the qualifications Krishna is telling here in this verse for us to become eligible to go to the spiritual world? So becoming free from false prestige, giving up our ego and pride, giving up the illusion and false association, asat sanga tyaga ei vaishnavachar, giving up our wrong associations, giving up our illusions, who understands the eternal, understanding our real nature as being the eternal part and parcel of Krishna, being the eternal soul, and understanding our relationship with Krishna, who are done with this material lust, who has given up this calm, the different desires to enjoy within this material world, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, understanding there will be sometime happiness in this world, sometime there will be distress in this world, and accepting it as the plan of the Lord. So who can give up these dualities in this way, unbewildered, who surrenders unto the Supreme Person, that person attains to that eternal kingdom. So in many places of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking about these qualities. What are the qualities of a great learned Vaishnava? That they are freed from all these different dualities of life, labhani, jivan mrityu, sukh dukh. So they are free from those dualities. And then what is the characteristics of this spiritual world? If you ask Krishna, okay, you are advertising too much about the spiritual world, that if somebody comes there, he will not return back. So can you tell me a little more about that spiritual world? How the spiritual world looks like? What are the characteristics of that place? So Krishna tells the qualities of that spiritual world. Na tadbhasyate suryo, na shashanko, na pavakah, yad gatva na nivartante, tadham paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or the moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So Krishna is telling, in this spiritual world, where real happiness exists, and attaining that spiritual world, one does not return back. Here again, Krishna says, Yad gatva na nivartante. After attaining that, one never returns back. Tad dham paramam mama. That is my eternal abode. So in text 4, Krishna said, you go to that place. But now Krishna is claiming in this text number 6 that I am that Supreme Lord and that is my place. And what is the difference in this material world and spiritual world? In material world, darkness is by default. We need the arrangement for light. Right? We need to have electricity, solar panels, fire to brighten up this place. Otherwise, by default, there is darkness. In spiritual world, default condition is light. There is always light. There is always effulgence. There is no darkness in the material world. There is always naturally, by default, there is so much effulgence. There is no need of sun. There is no need of moon. There is no need of light or electricity in that spiritual world. So material world is the reverse of spiritual world. Right? As we said, reflection. In the reflection, it may show the same object, but there is nothing reality. And after attaining to that spiritual world, nobody returns back. Nobody want to come back actually, because every step is a dance. Every word is a song.
Good job, Jeshwant.
So text number 7 through 11. Now Krishna says, what is the nature of this material world? If somebody claims that no, we can be happy, we can find some happiness in this material world, Krishna says, no, there is no happiness. You all are struggling in this material world. Mamevamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. The living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. So Krishna is again confirming that the nature of this material world is there is struggle for existence. Everybody is struggling very hard. Even if somebody claims that yes, we can become happy in this world, but there is so much of struggle to get that little flickering happiness. And we have been always troubled by our senses and our mind. Mana shasthani indriyani. Our 5 working senses and the mind, they're always troubling. The mind is restless, mind is turbulent, mind is proposing so many different thoughts, and mind is bringing forth so many different desires, because of which we are always under anxiety. Either there is lamentation for something or hankering about certain thing. Right? Either we are lamenting about the past or we are hankering something in the future. We are always thinking, oh, if I could have done this thing differently, my present will be different. I could have been a different life. And then we are always making plan for the future. In the future, I will do this and then I will become happiness. I will plan to achieve this and then I will become happiness. So either we are lamenting or we are hankering, and mind is causing all these problems, all this trouble. That's why in 6th chapter, Arjuna had told Krishna, Manahi chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavat dhradam. This mind is very restless, it's turbulent, it's very strong. So we all are struggling in this material world, and that is the reality of this world. But in essence, we are part and parcel of Krishna. If we reattach ourselves with Krishna, if we connect back ourselves with Krishna, we can again become happy. As the example I gave in the beginning, when a lost child is connected back with his parents, the child again becomes happy. So same way, if we connect ourselves back with our spiritual father, our eternal father, immediately we will become happy. So we need to work hard, or we need to endeavor to go back to that spiritual world. Otherwise, in this material world, what happens? We have been going from one lifetime to another lifetime. Shariram yad avapnoti yad chapi utkramatishvaraha grihitvetani samyati vayur gandhan ivashayat. The living entity in this material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aroma. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Right? So in this material world, we form so many different conceptions, so many different ideas, so many different desires. And again, Krishna is giving the analogy here, as the air carries aroma. So air in itself has no fragrance of its. Whichever place the air flows through, wherever the air flows, it just acquires a fragrance from that place. If the air passes through a nice flower garden, air carries the aroma of nice flowers. If the air passes over a foul place as a gutter or something, the air will carry the smell of that bad smell of that foul place. So same way, in our consciousness, we have been acquiring so many different conceptions of life, so many different desires, so many different feelings, sometimes loving reciprocation with somebody, sometimes hated feeling for somebody. So we have been acquiring all these different conceptions of life, and in that way we move on from one lifetime to another lifetime. And we acquire one body, we give up that one, then we acquire another body. So here Krishna is again summarizing the principle of karma and reincarnation in these two verses here, text number 8 and 9. So Krishna is saying on and on, over and over again, we are going in this material world. Originally, we are all spark of Krishna, but here in this material realm, we jump from one branch to another branch of this banyan tree, sometime going up, sometime going down, right? Sometime going to the higher planets, sometime going to the lower planets, sometime going to the higher species, sometime going to the lower species of life, acquiring different material bodies based on our desires and based on our bank balance of karma, based on our desire and based on what we deserve. And at the time of death, through the subtle workings of the reincarnation, one receives a body which is tailor-made to facilitate such desires. If somebody has developed the desire to eat meat, one will be given a tailor-made body of a tiger, right? You take this body, you want to eat meat, then this body is suitable for that. Somebody has acquired the desires to sleep too long. They are given the body of some animals which sleep for forever, which they continue to sleep, like the body of a bear. So man proposes, God disposes. That is what it means, is we make so many different desires and God fulfill those desires based on the bank balance. Many times I have given this example when we discuss second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that as we give up the old clothes and acquire the new clothes, so same way the body gives up, the soul gives up this one particular body and acquires another body. But who decides what type of body we will get? That is based on our desire and deserve. Just like somebody goes to buy cloth at the shop, they may show all so many different varieties of cloth. You want silk, you want cotton, which type of cloth you want. One may say, oh, I want cotton. Then, okay, you want 200 rupees, 300 rupees, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. There are so many different varieties there also. That depends on your buying power, right? How much you have in your bank, in your wallet. So same way, what type of body are we going to get depends on our desires and what we deserve. One may desire that I want to be born in the house of a millionaire, billionaire. Krishna can fulfill that desire. That, okay, you want to be born in a billionaire house, no problem. You will be born in the billionaire house, but not in a human form. You may be born there, you may get there in the form of a dog, in the form of a mosquito, in the form of a roach. So based on the desire and deserve, we acquire particular situation. So in the next verse, what Krishna says is, Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam ghranam eva cha adhishthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eyes, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense object. So again, connected with the previous verse, here also, what Krishna is saying is, based on our desire and deserve, we may get a particular body. Now, in every body, there is a different set of organs, right? Not every species have same type of eyes, same type of ear or nose or mouth. So based on what particular body we acquire, we have a particular set of senses. And based on those particular set of senses, one will be again acting in that particular way. As a human, one may acquire the desire to eat halwa, rasgulla, puri, gulab jamun. But if somebody is in the body, the same living entity, the same soul, when it is in the body of a hog, now you put halwa in front of hog, hog is not going to eat halwa. Hog is interested in eating mud, eating stool only. So based on the particular senses we acquire, based on a particular body we have acquired, one will be forced to act in that way then. So we need to, that's why we need to tailor our desires. We need to make it in a proper way so we are not entangled in this material world. See, if a man, he is, let's say, the owner of the zoo, and in the zoo there are so many different varieties of animals there, and this owner of the zoo, he goes in front of the cage of the tiger. He is going to give the food to the tiger. And what is the food of the tiger? Naturally some meat, some flesh. So this owner, he goes in front of the cage of the tiger and say, here, this is the mass for you, right? Mass, flesh, meat. And when the same owner goes in front of the cow, now cow naturally eats grass. So the owner says, here, grass. For the tiger, he says mass. For the cow, he says ghas. This is the food for you. Here, eat ghas. And when that owner of the zoo, he is sitting in his dining table and the servant is serving him. Now servant asks, Malik, what do you want to eat? Mass or ghas? Right? You want to eat non-veg food or vegetarian food? So we have a choice to decide what we want to eat, what type of food one want to acquire. And based on that, what choices we make now, based on what consciousness we develop now, we will be given the next body. So Krishna said, we are actually, based on our desires and deserve, we are tailor making, we are customizing our next body. We have put a tailor in our home and we are asking him, okay, I want the cloth to be stitched in this particular way. So we are making a custom made dress for us, our next life. So that is text number 10. And then text number 9, and then text number 10 onwards we will continue in the next session. So maybe in the next session we'll cover the remaining set of verses of this chapter. So again, very wonderful chapter. Krishna in just 20 verses explaining the nature of this material world, summarizing all the principles here within this chapter. The principle of karma, the principle of reincarnation, the nature of this material world, our relationship with the Supreme Lord, and what is our real destination. So again, Purushottam month, very, very auspicious month, and we should not miss this opportunity to engage in spiritual activities. Any small activity we do in this particular Purushottam month yield multifold result. Okay, so thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. If anybody has any question, comment, we are open for discussion. Yes,
Um,
Mal.
Just a thought came. It said that after going to the supreme abode, one never comes back. But we do come back if we so desire to have fun or whatever, because it's boring over there or something. That's how we
No.
come back, right?
So it's not that it is boring over there. That is the mistake we made one time, thinking, being allured by the glittering of this material world, thinking, oh, maybe there is more happiness there.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy for myself rather than enjoying in service of Krishna. So
Mm.
when we have that desire of separate enjoyment mentality, when we want to be in the center, that's why we are here in this material world. So we have made that mistake once, and after getting the experiences of this world, when we become eligible now to go back after correcting ourselves, then we do not come back. Yes, Krishna can send us back to fulfill particular purpose. Krishna sends some empowered souls here to come in this material world to reclaim other lost souls. Right? So that we will covering in the last 2-3 verses of this chapter. Krishna says there are two type of living entity. One are eternally bound, one are eternally liberated. So we are eternally bound in this material world now. And once we become eligible to go back, so we become sadhana siddha. Right? So one are in bondage, one are in liberated stage, but by performing our sadhana, by correcting ourselves, we become eligible to go back. That is sadhana siddha. And after getting that position, one does not come back. Yes, there are some special scenarios when Krishna sends them for a particular task, particular purpose. Let's say Jai Vijay, right, falling down from the spiritual world. So now that is a special scenario where Krishna sends his own associates to fulfill particular task in this material world. Krishna sends different acharyas, the empowered acharyas who come in this material world to reclaim the fallen souls, to reclaim the lost souls, to bring them back at the feet of Krishna. But in generally, the general principle, what Krishna is telling again and again, Yad Gatvana Nivartante. After attaining that supreme abode, one does not return back.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, if no other question or comment. Yes, Vijay Prabhu.
Once in a while, but when something adharma happens too much, so he appears, on this planet. So there it is a purpose. So he brings in a lot of his followers, devotees, and all. So that's for a specific purpose.
Yes.
So,
Yes, so when Lord personally appears, he brings his associates also, his chosen associates also with him to participate in his different activities here in this world. But the general principle, what Krishna is saying, there is no fall down again from the spiritual world once we attain that abode.
right. So in that sense, if it is a planned thing, then coming to the material world is not a. It's not a sort of a fall down there. It is actually.
Yes. So see, there is a difference in gliding down versus falling down, right? There is a difference between coming down versus falling down. So you can hold the rope and come down from the cliff of the mountain, or another scenario is somebody kicks you out, right? Throws them out of the cliff. So falling down means we have fallen down from that position, and descending down means we are descending down for a particular purpose. So somebody is at the top of the mountain and something has fallen down, so they may throw a rope down and climb down from that place to get back that fallen object.
Prabhuji,
same
but
way-
there's a contrast, like, there is this one, suppose we say once we go back, we'll never come back here to the material world. Then suppose we are all initially part of Krishna, then we should not come back here, no? Why is that, we thought like that,
So
and,
that
came down.
question is, so I will tell you one joking statement here. So as we say, eternal thing, right? So this question is also eternal question. So if we were always with Krishna, then in first place, why we came down here? So Prabhupada answers that yes, we were with Krishna, but because we made a wrong choice once, we wanted to enjoy separate from Krishna. We have made that one wrong choice and we have been sent here now. But after we have learned our lesson, after we have corrected ourselves, we have again become eligible to go back. And after that, now we do not return back because we have learned our lesson. So that is how Prabhupada answers this eternal question. Now, again, let's not get stuck on, are we going to come back? Are we going to come back? What is our goal right now? So don't be stuck with the fear of unknown. Don't get stuck with the fear of unseen. You work towards your goal, and the goal is to go back to Krishna, because that is, Acharyas are telling, Krishna himself is telling, the Shastras are telling that this material world is a place of misery, spiritual world is the place of happiness. So one should endeavor to attain that eternal place. Right? So let's make that as goal. Let's work towards that goal rather than getting stuck with this thing. Oh, if we really attain there, will I come back down again sometime? Is there a possibility that again I can fall down? So don't keep thinking about that. Do you think in our job, do we think, oh, if I want that promotion, can they demote me again? I can acquire that position. Maybe after a few years, they may not have that need and they may demote me again. Do we always keep thinking about that, or you just focus on your goal? So what is the answer? Right? So we have to focus on our goal to acquire that destination, which is spoken by Krishna. Okay. Anything else?
That's it, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. Ravi Prabhu, you have something?
No, Prabhu, I'm just kind of internalizing what you just answered. My understanding from that is we made a mistake, but at the time when we had a desire to come and enjoy by ourselves, it was not felt as a mistake. It was seen as something to explore. And as part of that exploration decision of the soul, Lord created provided all that Maya and different tattvas to experience that outside world. And as part of that, it's not just for the individual soul, it created it for all the souls who desire to come into the material world. Now going back requires that added to the conditioning of the soul.
Yes.
And to go back is removing of the conditioning is needed. And that conditioning may take multiple birth and death situation, or it can be in whatever state the soul is. But that is only that's a combination of the efforts and the kripa, Krishna kripa to go back. Now, after going back, as you said that once we go back, there's no desire. Then if Krishna brings the pure souls with Krishna to this world is as coming down with the rope. And but we are the ones which are like the fallen ones who do not have, who have been provided a rope as part of the process. It's now we need to hold tight on that rope to go back. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for summarizing.
No
So
question.
another analogy, actually, once I had given that earlier, I believe. Same point to Vijay Prabhu, right? That we have come down to this. Is there a possibility we can come again also? So this is like when we have no understanding, then we can get attracted to some glittering of something. Let's say if there is a pub, casino, something at the night, it's all lighted up, so many decorations are there outside to attract people. So somebody who is in ignorance, who has no understanding of that, when they walk by that, when they look at that, they may get attracted by looking at all external glittering, and they want to walk inside that, right? They want to enter inside that to see what this place really looks like. Now you have gone there, you have taken your experiences, you have lost some money, you have done all sort of things now, and you have come out by gaining some experience, you have understood the reality about this. Now as a devotee, right, when we are now in knowledge, when we are understanding the reality of this material world, and then when again you look at the reality, the external glittering of that place, you don't feel attracted to that place, you don't want to enter again into that place. So same way, yes, once we got attracted by the glittering of this material world, thinking, oh, maybe there is more enjoyment here, let me try to go there and try to enjoy there. But after we have done all our experiences here, and then we go out of this place, after again looking at this material world, by seeing on this one, you don't feel that attraction, that, oh, I want to go there again. So that's why Krishna says, once you return back to the spiritual world, after getting your experiences, after correcting your wrong tendencies, then one does not return back. Okay, so I think we'll stop it here today. And in the next session, we'll cover the remaining verses. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.